Hi everyone, Eon here. It is Monday, April 21st, 2025 as I record this. Just wanted to go through and look at a few Kickstarters and a few My Mini Factories, and I know I'm going to forget one or two in there, and I apologize ahead of time for that. But there's a lot of stuff coming out real quick. I saw this, just said Dwarf, and naturally I had to take a look at it real quick. Looks like the personal tiers around mid-20s, but some pretty cool minis here. Again, let's zoom in a little bit so you can see a little bit better. But some pretty cool minis for dwarves there. Also wanted to point out this one here. You can see I've already been scrolling through it here. Sorry. Fantasy Pets Volume 3. 9 days left to go. And kind of whimsical, very unique look to this. So I thought that was kind of neat to see. The price point seems to be around the same price, about mid-20s, closer to 30 bucks. Some cool terrain and scattered terrain and such as well. So Necromancer, Undead Mice, a Lizard Warrior, a Dachshund Sentry. So, you know, if your dog has, you know, a wheelchair, basically. Pretty cool stuff to look at there. Vesper. Again, I was kind of looking at this. I'm not sure if I really looked at this one before. 23 days to go. Very neat stuff. This reminds me of the golden age of Kickstarter when places like Cool Mini or Not and such were just starting. So this is about 27 bucks, 37 Canadian. And the drone sentries are pretty cool. And then, but it reminds me kind of some of the early days, some of the projects I saw and I was like, hey, that looks really cool. Let me back that. And, yeah, that's where it starts, folks. That's where it starts. But pretty cool stuff to look at here as well. So just wanted to kind of point these things out to you. Pay what you want. I usually back this one up to $1. I think it gives you one of the houses. I've actually printed off one of their creations before. So you can all in is about 18 bucks. So these do print. And I've printed a similar pumpkin house before, and I need to paint it. I need to actually do that and put it together. But I really like their artwork here. It's a little bit different. A lot of character to these houses, to these buildings, and they've done this for a while now. So to me, this is kind of almost obligatory backing every time. Soul Good, we talk about often, has about just over 2 days left to go against Might against the Maledict. So about 25 bucks again. That seems to be the common price point here, doesn't it? So the core set is 55, Giant Goblin Horde for 30, Terrain core set for 45. So there's a lot going on here with Might against the Maledict, yeah. Mal meaning bad, dict meaning to talk. So I guess talk's bad. Maybe I'm reading too much into the name there. But some busts. And I think that's just... yeah, the Mighty Monsters, the Daybreak Coven. So, barbarians, basically. That's a pretty cool barbarian there, actually. So you can really see what the miniatures look like here. The Jotunsons, the Bear Riders, and the Bear Riders, I guess, riderless, and the Great Goblin Horde. These are like kind of bulkier goblins than you normally see. A lot of pretty cool minis, though, actually. Dinoworld ORC World War, I believe is what WW stands for. So kind of a World War meshed with orcs, meshed with dinosaurs. Kind of reminds me of Dinotopia, that kind of thing. The early bird is about 13 bucks. I don't think I've backed this one just yet. I back a lot of these. Probably shouldn't. It's that fear of missing out. It's always constant. And I don't know, it's like Jurassic Park meets Gorka Morka, sort of. With the tanks and such. Yeah, but definitely worth checking out. Medieval Architecture, if you're looking for just some buildings here. So this one is personal license around 18 bucks. And these look like they're resin printed to me. So pretty detailed little houses. Just kind of cool. I wanted to point this out. I'm scrolling through here really fast because I'm trying to make this a quick video. I got to go back and do some work for my day job, but I also want to get to work as well on getting the review number 2 ready as well. Where Legends Fight Volume 10. This one's got just under 2 days left to go, so I probably shouldn't even mention it at this point. But some interesting things to look at here. It's a pretty cheap 14 bucks. It's not a bad buy-in just to get some basic, like a wizard's tower. You can see the animation here. You can see the gates and so forth. And there's just a lot of stuff going on. I kind of really liked the little tree village area where Legends Fight Volume 10. And that's the name of this one, right? Yeah, where Legend 10. So a lot of stuff going on here. And again, I'm kind of zoomed in just to make this a little bit easier. Some various sails and some ships. Here we have a little bit more science fiction-y, look, orcs. So that would go along well with the Dinoworld stuff, right? So there's some terrain that you can usually put up for cover pieces and so forth. So I mean the all-in pledge of 14 bucks is not a bad price for that. And if you have interest in selling these, 50 bucks for the commercial license. Look, 80 people have bought into that. There's only 20 left. So definitely a lot of stuff coming with this set that's available for you. Towers of Faith 2 is some 3D printable dice towers. I think I skipped this one because it was a little bit on the pricier side. You get a random tower for about $1 or $2. Yes, that might be worth doing. The early bird is around 18 to about 20 bucks US dollars, and the ARC in the regular tier is about 28. And if you want the lifetime commercial license, that's going to cost you closer to $100. And they do have some stretch goals as well. Interesting. So where are we at? So 9,000. They are at 6,238. So I guess some of these have been unlocked, but we've still got a ways to go here. Speaking of dice towers, there's also Unearth the Legend Dragon Fossil Dice Tower that you can back as well. $2 or $7 for pretty much everything, non-commercial. And there's a couple of previous projects that they have available too. There's not much more to say about this, just another dice tower. Here's another dice tower. Again, about 2 days left to go. Sorry about that. 47 hours to go. So kind of a Sword of Legend, and gives you yet another dice tower. Definitely a weird render here, but I mean $2 for personal use, $7 if you want to sell it. So definitely not a bad price point for a pretty basic style dice tower. I'm not that basic, but Vault of Monsters just came across my feed, and I went ahead and backed it. I was like, you know what? These are some pretty nice looking miniatures. This is by Soulbound Miniatures, their first back. So there's some Koatoa, some Durger. There's a couple of Drider, Beholder. Got a lot of character to that. The Gnolls, I always like a good Gnoll. Harpies, Chimeras, a Bronze Dragon, and then for the Undead faction, we have some Skeletons and some Banshee, some Deathlocks. I'm not exact. I guess it's like a dead warlock. I'm not familiar with that term. It sounds familiar, but here's a Death Dragon, and there is a free Town Crier that you can get as well. So definitely, I thought it was worth checking out. I like the look of these miniatures, and they're going to be doing My Mini Factory distribution. So that is kind of another go-ahead for me. But the price point for this was around 40 bucks USD. So a little bit on the pricier side, but I don't know. I like it. They also have an essential set, which is only a little bit. It's not as much stuff. But if you want everything, there's the early bird advanced set, and I think that's pretty much it. Their essential set will be 22, advanced set will be 45. Sorry, and then there's a merchant tier with a couple people are taking advantage of if you want to do that. And then Warcells. I did want to point out DakkaDakka has put out their new. This is a game actually. It's about $39. It's $99 for all in. There is an early bird of $39. I think that is still available. That you can check in for this, and it gives you basically 2 sets of miniatures for the factions here. So you get a build kit of the 3rd Death Division, 12 pre-assembled models, and then the Maverick Cultists. So some pretty nice models here. Maverick Cultists, just kind of letting the little animation flick through here. And there's also some terrain that you can put together, as well as some OPR compatible rules, gauges, and compendium and so forth that goes with this. You can also, of course, do some add-ons with DakkaDakka as well. And they had a Kickstarter not long ago get taken down, so really sorry to hear that for them. But anyway, that's a bunch of Kickstarters. Sorry, I just canned out my volume there. Let's look at a few Frontiers really quick. So Dungeon Classics has the Triple Adventure Mega Pack, and there's a lot of tiers here. I can't even begin to tell you where to go. The all-in is $150, which is kind of steep in my opinion. Returning backers, if you've been backing for a while, is around $35. That's a little bit more reasonable. But man, $238 at $150. Man, I mean they've got some really nice miniatures though. They've got some really nice figures in here, and there's no way we can go through all of this in the time that we have. I have been back in Dungeon Classics since they started that tribe. I have not been backing Dragon Trappers for a while, so some of these I think are Dragon Trappers minis as opposed to others. But Dwarf Brother, oh, that right there, okay. Yeah, some doppelgangers. Did I just scroll through these? Yes, there's a lot going on there. We're not, again, I want to make this a quick video. I'm already at 12 minutes. Eternal Dynasty, 17 days left, so there are a few different tiers for this. If you've backed them before, you can do the pretty basic tier here to get some heroes, and you get a faction book PDF. It would be cool to have a print option of that as well. But there's also the Dynasty Patrol and Command if you want some of the miniatures, which I feel like I've backed at a previous campaign before. And then somebody pointed out that they do have an all-in pledge. Like if you want everything with the Grimdark Future that they have done, there is that. And 3 people have backed into it. So I don't know if it's prorated, if you already own some of it or not, but just wanted to point that out. This one skipped me. White Angel is usually doing a Frontier a month, roughly, and there's one on mounts. So I did not notice this one before, so I just wanted to point it out really quickly. I wanted to glance at it. Not something I'm personally interested in at the moment, but some of you might be. I mean, it's one of their, not so much, but I mean, well, heck, $7.50 not bad for the next 10 people to buy this. And even $9 is not bad for these mounts. If you want some mounts, if you just want a little bit different type of mount, it is pretty cool actually. What they've got going on here, but so they kind of hit the gamut of what you've got out there. Texture and practice palettes. I did want to check on this one. They do have some tiers. Let's see. The early bird is done at 43. But this is basically you print these off and you can practice your painting. So this is probably good for anybody that wants to check and see what color does the paint look like when it's dried. How can you work on this or work on that? And a little bit of a different type of thing to print off and use. But I don't know. I kind of like the idea of this. It's something to be printed so that you can just use it and paint on it, use it to, I guess instead of just putting all your paint on a dry brush, on a paper towel for dry brushing, you can do this instead. I just thought it was kind of cool. Let's talk about a few upcoming Frontiers real quick. Dungeon Blocks is Creepy Swamp, coming out pretty soon. Make sure you click that Get Notified, and, maybe you get a little bit of a bonus. I think they usually give you, register to receive your 5% off, yeah, so they do give you that. They usually have a sampler set as well. They do good stuff, Dungeon Blocks does. This is from CrippledGodFoundry, I want to say. Yeah, CrippledGodFoundry. I didn't want to misspeak. They announced this Epic Battlegrounds Ultimate Terrain Collection, 48-hour early bird, over 200 STLs, 10 different locations. Sign up now and you get a free sample. Definitely worth signing up. Add to your library. The All-Star Project, I didn't notice this one. This is from Fran Cantos Designs. That part right there. The All-Star Project, you get this miniature much more by joining tribes for just $1 a month. I guess I need to add them to my rotation. Best fantasy football star players are now coming to Frontiers. So, All-Star Project. So this is fantasy football. I didn't realize it was quite that. So definitely worth checking out. Zeo Genesis. This is pretty big news. Again, make sure you click up to get notified. This will be printing. This is coming from some of the original creators of some of the Games Workshop games that most of us know of. So I'm surprised they didn't name drop these guys over here. But that is something to definitely keep a check on. Again, you get a free mini. Sign up to get notified. Westfalia, trenchstench.com. So Westfalia Miniatures, join now. Get a free first month. And yeah, so this right here, if you're interested in the trench warfare, the trench crusade fandom that's going on, again, just worth checking out. And I'll put links to all these down below. I was curious about this one. It says Warmachine is now on Tribes, and register for a free month for April, which you can get right now. I don't know why this is as a Frontier. It's under Tribes, but it was in... I don't know why it's under Frontiers. And it says get notified when the campaign launches. So, I don't know. I'm going to hit get notified just to be on the safe side, but I'm kind of confused by what exactly this is, because it says it's a Frontier if we look at the URL, and it says it's an April free Tribes trial, but you can just go to their thing to get it. I don't understand why this is a Frontier. And then the other one that I'm really excited for is Archvillain Games. Archvillain Games is doing Taranwyth. You get a free hut STL. Sign up right now and get that. And epic medieval village you've ever imagined. I don't know. I think we can all imagine some pretty epic medieval villages. So definitely worth checking these out. Hope everyone is doing well. I apologize for yammering on about this. I wanted to, at least for the ones that are live, really show you what's out there. But I also just wanted to hit a few high points at the end here to say, hey, don't forget to hit sign up. And to be honest, I probably need to go in and hit sign up a few of them myself. And I will hopefully see you soon here on the channel. Take care. Bye.